Sunday night, May the 7th, live for the second time ever. We're back, Michael, spontaneously, just deciding to do it live. Slam Pigs number 55. We got a lot to talk about this week. Not so much the shows of wrestling, but outside of the world of wrestling. Take Two had some technical difficulties while you guys are in the original stream tonight. Welcome back. We got our stuff together. Michael, what's going on? Welcome back. How's your week? What's up? Welcome to Star Wars month, by the way. Right here on the Mickey TV. I know you're jacked because you're such an avid Star Wars fan.
Not a big Star Wars fan, but my week was all right. Glad to be back here doing another live episode.
Yeah, there you have it.
You know, I love to say it. I got to get it in. Like your doll babies, I got to get in my live baby lives.
It's got to come out organically, though. You can't push it. Michael, before we get down to the brass tacks, real quick, where can everyone check us out?
Everybody check us out at the Slam Pigs Podcast. Check us out at the Hibiki TMD, or check me out at Mike the Slam Pig. As always, check out our sister show, The Reset Button. Hibiki TMD is where it's at. Make sure you're checking us out.
Yeah. Like we said, Michael, it's some subpar excuse about the audio there. This is a guerrilla style. We're still getting used to live, guys.
Yes.
So I'm going to actually have the chat up this week. So if you guys happen to be in the chat to get to interact, last time, real quick, Michael, shout out to our buddy Jim from Drink a Beer, Play a Game, and Logan, of course. Shout out Logan, too. Every month he's there.
Logan.
Ready to go.
Woo.
There's the excitement. I knew you had any for Logan.
Hey,
but
I gave him a woo.
Michael was a success. That's why we're back again live. Thank you guys so much. We're seriously debating couple news things for Slam Pigs.
Mm-hmm.
We're debating doing live every week and then just doing like the top threes are going over. Like you guys love the In Your House. We're just maybe do those in Post Edit City. The Reset Button will continue to be Post Edit City. Even though we went live last night, our real episodes, but I don't know, man. I'm really digging having you in a chat. Maybe just tread lightly, but still, yeah. And also some exciting news. Nothing set in stone yet, but some 205 shows possibly, and the UK tournament, which was Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate announced for the title at the next Takeover show. Michael,
205 baby live.
205 live show possibly, and a UK. We got a good buddy Matt Tennant. Going to welcome aboard to the team. Give him a little test drive, see how he goes.
I don't know who that is.
And I wouldn't. Well, you've never met him yet. I wouldn't say, but he put his own words out there. Our UK correspondent. So there you have it.
Oh.
He called himself that. I didn't label him.
I hope he's better than that other fuck we had on here.
You be serious
already.
Lee is a solid lad. He's a good fella.
Did you say lad?
He's a good fella.
Are you Irish now?
That's British. Anyway, Michael. Before we get, like we said at the top of the show real quick, not a lot of great stuff on the actual main roster shows this week that our bread and butter is to cover. We'll get to those, but
we got some hot news.
You gave me a little scoop du jour right before we went on the air.
Tidbits this week.
Titus
O'Neil in the news this week for an incident that happened about 2 years ago, actually. Basically, a WWE cameraman is suing Titus O'Neil for $1.2 million.
Now, what? And this is from like 2 years ago, you said. So
yes.
I did not know about this.
They were filming an episode of Swerved. I don't know if you caught much of Swerved on the WWE Network.
Yes.
You remember the episode a while back where they had the cattle prod? Yeah. I think Paige was in it. Well, this was evidently left off that episode because of this incident. Basically, they swerved Titus with a cattle prod, and he didn't take too kindly and decided to knock the camera out of the cameraman's hand, injured the cameraman. Cameraman was sent home because of fear of future incidents with Titus. And no criminal charges were filed. He just wants some money, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean...
Does Titus even have $1.2 million?
Doubtful, because...
What's he get paid?
I don't know. He did a lot of
he does a lot
ambassador
of
stuff, like speaking stuff, but I doubt... what can you say? This is another blow for Titus. We all remember him grabbing Vince about a year and a half ago in that big ordeal.
Maybe now knowing this backstory, maybe that's why he was suspended for grabbing Vince. Maybe Vince was like, you need to quit fucking grabbing people.
Who knows?
Could have been. Could have been gone. But also, I feel like the thing in the room needs to be spoken about.
Yes, obviously the biggest news, and not just Charlotte was affected. There was another past diva who was affected. I don't even know if you know about that. She's one of your favorites. I might get you excited on it. Victoria.
Yes, I did see that. I didn't see the photos, though. I need them.
And real quick, yes, we did it with Paige, and we always put a little disclaimer when this kind of news happens, and we talk about it. It's in good fun and it's for the humor of the show, but we do not advocate hacking people's private shit. I think, in my opinion at least, it's horrible if this happened. I know you got to be smarter than that, especially when you're in the
I do
public
not
eye.
advocate hacking people's shit, but I do advocate looking at the pictures. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's kind of being hypocritical, but if somebody else is gonna hack the shit and post it everywhere, and everybody else has already seen it, I'm gonna try and find it too.
You said that, not me. But anyway, yes, of course. Obviously, we all know Charlotte had photos hacked this week. She was devastated. She came out on Twitter with some comments. I'm not gonna, I feel like this just happened. We don't have to get into like our big beliefs on this whole shit. But
Didn't even look like she was taking the photos to be sexy. If you've seen them, it looked like she was like checking for bruises or marks or something, or like let's just see what my body looks like. Transformation photos. It almost looked like.
I will say, not the most flattering pictures of Charlotte.
Ugh.
They could have been out there. Needless to say, I feel really bad.
You know
for
my
her.
opinions on this. I'm not going to share them.
Without splitting hairs, once again, though, you ladies, gentlemen, Rollins has happened to Rollins. Just be fucking smarter. Just be smarter. And is it a coincidence?
Take naked pictures of yourself, delete them once you're done with them.
Is it a coincidence you said like a couple years ago that ADR Alberto Del Rio was dating Charlotte?
Yeah.
And Paige was hacked. Do you think something's going on with that? Like,
I don't know.
Maybe it's a Del Rio thing. He's an awful big drunk lately, doing wild, spontaneous shit.
Well, I mean, he must be good at covering it up then, because with IT departments nowadays can find out who's sending what, who's hacking what from anywhere. So
true.
It would be tough to do that and not get caught. That's my whole thing on it. But as far as the photos, they were not very flattering of Charlotte. I've never been like a hugely attracted to Charlotte to begin with, and this just made it even worse for me. I think it was one of those things. These are photos I wish I hadn't seen. I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I was like, all right, I'll have a look ski. It might be all right. And then I saw, ooh.
No, a lot of people have asked me this on Twitter this week, Michael, since this has happened. Does this tarnish Charlotte? Does this tarnish her career? Or does it eventually people are going to forget?
No, I mean...
no one ever really forgets, but it goes away after
I don't think it tarnishes her career. I mean, look at how many women in wrestling have had naked photos. I mean, they used to advocate that. How many people did they have in Playboy? Back in the Attitude Era, if you were a diva and you weren't in Playboy, you just pretty much sucked. So you had Tori Wilson.
That's not superficial sounding at all.
I'm just
saying their philosophy.
That's how it was.
Yeah, I know.
You had Sable, Tori Wilson.
We have come such a long way.
Maria. Now
Ashley Massaro.
Yes,
she was the shit. Like she was worse. People talk about Eva.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Eva and Ashley Massaro in like an Iron Man match?
Ugh.
Good God.
God, I'd have to have a lot of beer.
Something.
But it's Christ. But to now, I almost feel like WWE's a little hypocritical on this. Like just years ago, you were basically all for this. Like, yeah, go pose nude. Now that
they were a different company, though, totally different company than in the Attitude Era.
Well, I think if you're going to play one side of the fence, you can't just go and play the other side whenever you feel like it, just on what the audience wants.
I agree, but they do what the fuck they want. Vince McMahon has never catered to anyone's rules his entire life. That's just how he is.
I feel like it's kind of hypocritical on their part, but on the other, I see the other side of it as far as them being a PG company right now.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like they're getting out of the PG stuff a little bit right now. It seems like they're getting close to, maybe some TV-14 or something with some of the stuff that's been going on lately.
Let's face it, the PG era has been around for at least 10 years, almost.
Yeah.
About 08, 09, it started getting kid-friendly more. 07, it definitely wasn't yet.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't yet. It was like the cusp of 08, like the middle of 08, I guess. But those kids are growing up, and maybe WWE sees that. And maybe they're finally fucking listening to the fans that do, and not just the smart marks that bitch about everything, but people like us that give the product a chance. But goddamn, and just like this week, we're about to get right into Raw.
God, I don't feel
wasn't that great.
I feel like the quality of the wrestling matches is as high as it's ever been in the company's history.
But that's not going to get it.
But the product itself is not.
You can't book an American wrestling company, in my opinion, like New Japan, where you just rely on the in-ring.
Yeah.
Like even Ring of Honor has always found a way to incorporate like blood feud angles. And I don't speak fucking Japanese, so I get that they just don't send guys out there with no stories. They have stories, but it's definitely the in-ring gets you over in Japan. It always has. It's always been like that in Japan. That's why guys
Japanese
love Japan.
Audience is much different.
Exactly.
They appreciate the wrestling more than the talking. The American audience is the complete opposite. I feel like a lot of times, like they could care less about the wrestling. They want something to be entertained with.
The other big one, and I was seriously almost floored when you told me you didn't hear the news this week. The July Raw exclusive pay-per-view name has been changed from the awesome fucking Bad Blood name, which we both love that name.
Yeah.
It's one of the best names I think they've ever come up because it says so much without having to.
Mm-hmm.
Has been changed, apparently. Reports strictly Vince McMahon was behind the name change. Shock. 2, goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. Great Balls of Fire, Michael.
Good singing.
Holy shit.
You got some karaoke talent.
Thank you.
It just reminds me of Rodney Dangerfield.
I mean, what the fuck? What Vince? I mean, this is so Vince to do this. Double entendre, double meaning.
It was probably his class song, and it's on his bucket list. He's like, before I die, I'm gonna name a pay-per-view after my class song.
I love that song, pal.
And then you got Pat. Well, what was your class song, Vince? You want it sucked? No, that wasn't the song.
That was never a goddamn song.
God, no. The class song was Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, great.
Imagine him saying it. He's gonna come out and probably announce it too. Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire is the new name of the July brand exclusive pay-per-view, and a lot of rumors saying that it's going to be Braun Strowman challenging Brock Lesnar, who won't defend the title since winning it he will be defending it for the first time at Great Balls of Fire as they've advertised after like 93 or 94 days or something. Way over the 30-day limit.
When you have the other show's champion on your first pay-per-view after WrestleMania, and now you're coming up with another Raw pay-per-view coming up, Extreme Rules, and you're not going to have a title match. I mean, you're going to have an Intercontinental title match and probably a tag match and a women's match, but your big belt, the Universal Championship, is not going to be defended again. See, this is that whole shit with the WWE stripping people of titles because they didn't defend it for 30 days. Now, this is good. I think you said it would be 98 days by the time he defends it. Like, why do they continue to put a belt on a part-time talent when they're not going to be there? It's hunting season coming up.
Yeah.
So Brock Lesnar, that's in his contract. He doesn't work during hunting season.
Sable's getting lonely. It's hunting season. And like we said once again at the top of the show, because they do whatever the fuck they want. They make the rules up as they go. They always kind of have. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just an insult to the guys that are there week in, week out, busting their ass to put a belt on. Not that Brock Lesnar doesn't deserve the belt, but if you're going to be the champ, you need to be there. That's how I've always felt. I don't care if you're a part-time guy.
That's how my booking would go.
If you're a part-time guy, guess what? If I'm putting the belt on you, you're going to be there every fucking week. Or at least every pay-per-view.
I mean, it's 2015 all over again. And people, like, the same people that pop every time Brock comes back, and they were like legitimately, because he's Brock and he's a monster and he should be the champ. This is what you get. This is what you get, and you have no right to complain. Because I knew exactly, and you knew exactly what was going to happen. As soon as Brock Lesnar has a title, he takes a vacation, and he's allowed to do that because of the name, because he's one of the biggest drawing names in the company. That's just something we have to deal with.
Highest paid.
But that's a whole other topic and stuff. Real quick, the Great Balls of Fire name, is this the worst name they've ever had for a pay-per-view? And they've had some. Look at all the In Your House names, for Christ's sakes, we've had.
Taboo Tuesday.
Revenge of Taker. Like, if you don't watch wrestling, and you just happen to see that flipping through channels, what the fuck is Revenge of Taker?
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense, like, because you don't know that's short for Undertaker.
Beware of Dog.
That was, as much as I love that In Your House, that wasn't a great, not a great
They
one.
were just getting their feet wet with the naming of pay-per-views back then. They've really, I think they actually had, before it was a stable, they had a pay-per-view called Evolution, I believe, at some point.
New Year's Revolution.
There was New Year's Revolution.
I don't think they ever had a pay-per-view name. But yeah, this is maybe one of the worst in my opinion. This is bad. And I get the joke, Vince. It's fucking hilarious for like 2 seconds.
I mean, I'm wondering if there's going to be a gimmick attached to this. Like, when I think of
like
the name, it makes me think of, like, is there going to be like a lottery or something? You know what I mean? Like Balls of Fire. Like,
is Kane going to be turning the wheel of the balls, like, because that's how they're going to throw the fire and the balls together?
Is it going to be like Taboo Tuesday where they pick a ball out and that's what kind of match you're going to have? Like,
yeah,
or it's, I don't know.
Before I forget, one more thing I want to talk about. You also didn't know about. It's kind of a little bit older in the news, but we haven't recorded. I do want to bring up the X-Pac situation that happened this week.
X-Pac.
As we all know, I mean, it seems like X-Pac in the last couple of years.
We had that soundbite.
I
As soon
did.
as you say X-Pac, you get...
Whatever that. It seems like he's cleaned his life up the last couple of years. He's gotten sober, allegedly. Now we can really say allegedly, but busted going to go overseas. He hadn't made his way overseas yet. Busted at the airport this past week or so. Like THC pills, which is, in my opinion, that's whatever. That's legal in half the country at this point. But he had like intent to distribute. I believe. Thank you, Michael, for.
Sorry about that.
Intent to distribute like meth, amphetamines, or heroin, or some really bad contraband was found in X-Pac. So, and I understand people aren't perfect and relapses, and I'm never one to judge. He did claim though. I think the weirdest part about the story, Michael, he's come out, he's talked about it on Twitter and stuff. He claims he did not relapse. Yes, the situation happened, but he has never relapsed. So you're either a drug dealer or I don't mean you're both. Either way, it's not good. But best wishes out to X-Pac. He's one of my favorite small guys of all time in ring.
Yeah.
It seems like my daughters met X-Pac, and he was an awesome guy to my daughters. So he's a class guy when you meet him. So best wishes, in my opinion, to X-Pac, Michael. Your 2 cents on this situation.
I guess I really don't have a strong view on X-Pac because he's been pretty much irrelevant to me as far as the past 10 years. You know what I mean?
Maybe longer.
Yeah, it's the last time I saw X-Pac doing anything, it was with China on the radio show.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somewhere else you saw them.
No.
All right.
No, I did see that, unfortunately, too. God. But
I think we all did. If you say you didn't watch it, you guys, you're a liar.
They were on a radio show, and basically he was calling China out for some of the lies that he said she told about him.
He was Opie and Anthony. I saw that. He buried the fuck out of her.
Yeah, and she pretty much ran and hid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For somebody that was so, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. She definitely tucked her tail and ran when he called her out live on radio. That was the last time I really had anything to do with X-Pac.
Yeah.
But
unless he's really been in the news, but
if he does have some meth and some THC and stuff on him, I feel bad for him. I mean, sort of.
But I feel like you're going to carry that. Shocked.
If you're going to carry that shit with you in an airport, like you're just asking to be caught. Like
especially if you're going through customs to go overseas, how stupid do you have to be? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not passing judgment, but not a smart move.
I've gone to Las Vegas before, and one of the people I went with to Las Vegas was female, and she smuggled some pot.
She get caught
in her cooter.
Oh, scooter.
She did not get caught, but I wanted nothing to do with the pot once we got to Vegas.
Oh, man.
I was like, that was in your vag. It's in bags. I don't give a shit. It's gonna smell. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Well, let's move along from the tail end of that story.
Maybe he could have smuggled it in his butt or something if he wanted.
Could have put it in his fucking bandana. He always wears a bandana. Do they make you take your bandana off?
Yeah, I would imagine. Just like a hat.
Yeah, I'm just kidding about the bandana. Michael, without further ado, it's time for this week's live Raw review.
Right after this.
Monday Night Raw this week was live, and it kicked off with Alexa Bliss with her Women's Championship coronation celebration, hot off the heels of her victory the night before at Payback, defeating Bayley. I actually, and I'm just waiting on Michael to pop back. He ran upstairs real quick. I actually really like this segment. Alexa Bliss is screaming nothing but gold to me off the screen and money, and she's knocking it out of the park, in my opinion, as far as promos. But this was really interestingly set up. They had all the women actually standing around Alexa as she had like a little pedestal, a cake type thing in the middle of the ring, and she stood on it and went around to all the women. Started with Mickie James, put her down with a great little shot at Mickie James, referring to her age, and I guess the one thing I didn't like from all this was how the women didn't really like, especially Bayley. She looked so broken and beaten down. She did get her win back by the end of it, but man, like, this was a different era. Like, imagine this in the Attitude Era. Like, I could see Ivory hauling off and just hitting Alexa Bliss in 2 minutes. Michael, I'm kicking off Raw. Welcome back with the Alexa Bliss coronation ceremony. I was saying how she's going around to each woman, putting them down separately, and that shot at Mickie James about her age. I'm sure you popped it home
when
she did that one.
Your
I was just
predecessor's Mae Young.
yeah, that was. I know you probably got a big pop.
Basically calling her old.
I was saying I actually really like this segment. Alexa Bliss is nothing but money to me. She's knocking out of the park. But the only thing I guess I didn't like how she like a lot of these women just took it. They didn't do anything. Especially Bailey. She came on. I know she got her win.
Sasha
in the end.
Banks didn't take it, which got on my nerves. Everybody else took it except for Sasha Banks. She's like, I beat you last week. You know, Sasha Banks just gets on my nerves right now.
Me too. She's really irritating. And look where we were like a year or so ago talking about how everyone wanted Sasha, and it's
Yeah.
like nobody gives a shit now. You know, they
It's-
flipped that title so many times with her in Charlotte.
And everybody's tired of the babyface Sasha, which it doesn't feel like it's so much of a babyface anymore anyway.
But Michael, I did like this segment. That was the only thing I didn't really took my fancy.
Which
how
led
they-
to a big tag match between every woman
But
on the
real
roster.
quick, I want to say how she backed up into Nia Jax. I
Yeah.
thought that was funny.
And the
She's
crowd
like, "Oh, we're
popped.
good."
The crowd popped for that.
Yeah.
Crowd popped big time for that.
And I mean, you would think, and Alexa Bliss, she did botch during the promo. She
Yeah.
did slip there would be a tag match, even though it was quote unquote spontaneous. But this did lead to an 8-women's tag match. An alright match. Alexa Bliss getting the win in the end, Michael. Exactly what you think the match would be, I would
Getting
say.
the win over Bailey.
And something we didn't talk about in the news, and she was actually in this match. Emma is
With
now
the DDT. With the Jake Roberts.
and we'll get to that in a second, but Emma's injured, by the way.
Yes.
That's a new report.
Emma's injured.
Welcome back.
That's
See
the
ya.
news.
God, you had to think she's probably done. They weren't going to do anything with her anyway when she get back. She
She's
just
not-
stagnated.
She doesn't scream entertainment to me at all. She's just a filler piece. Like, she's almost as bad as Alicia Fox. And Alicia Fox can at least work a little bit.
Alicia Fox can really work. She has
Yeah.
a great bridge on her suplexes and stuff.
She just not very entertaining.
What was I getting excited about before we went back to that? I was about to
The 8-woman tag match with the DDT.
the DDT. They're bringing that back as like a legit finisher, and I love
Mhm.
that. They're treating it with respect. We'll see how that pans out with crowds and stuff. But yeah, is that her finisher? Just a straight DDT now?
That's what it's been the past 2 weeks. So I like that move as a finish for anybody because you don't have to be big or small to do it. You know what I mean? You can do it on anybody. So I love finishers that you can do to anyone. I hate like Apollo Cruz's
Even
finisher.
the overdrive
Like-
MVP's finisher.
Like Apollo Cruz's finisher. That move, he can't do that on anybody.
And it seems out of place for him.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you know what makes that move
you
even
know whose
more annoying?
idea that was? Triple H.
Really?
Triple H's idea on that move.
Well, that's where I was going to go next on Raw. I said, let's get the worst out of the way on Raw. Apollo Crews beat Heath Slater.
Right.
He was managed by Titus now with a photo bomb by Rhino in the selfie.
Uh-huh.
I hate that move by Apollo. I agree. And
I thought you'd love Rhino right now with that canned cheese and his crackers.
I
You
don't-
love that cheese in a can.
I didn't say I hate Rhino. Where are you getting that from?
I'm just surprised you haven't plugged that. How much you like canned cheese?
It's been a couple months since we've seen that. I
Ugh.
can't talk about it. It's something I can't see. But Michael Cole, every time he does that move, comes all over it. Says how, oh, I love this move, Graves. God, it's shitty. It's a boring move. It's a glorified Batista bomb. And
Yeah.
it doesn't fit him because he's supposed to be this hybrid high flyer powerhouse guy.
Mhm.
He should have an aerial move as a finish,
Yeah.
maybe, or something.
You're telling me he can't do like a shooting star or something?
What was his finish on the Indies? I don't even know.
He had a different finisher in NXT. I'm trying to remember what it was. Anybody who knows what it was, please.
It was a gorilla press and then into a moonsault, like immediately.
Yeah.
It wasn't any better really.
Yeah, I would much rather see him with a top rope finisher. You know,
Worst finisher right now for you. Put you on the spot. Aleister Black's little kick or Apollo Crews' Batista bomb from hell.
ugh.
There you go.
Well, Aleister Black's kick you can do on anybody too, but
But that's not done right.
it just doesn't look devastating to me.
We'll get to Aleister Black later because I know you got a lot to say.
It just doesn't do anything for me to see him do it. I feel like he does so many other things in the ring that look good, and then he uses that for his finish. I'm like,
One of the things I know everyone's going to be surprised to hear about, I knew this all fair, your opinion on this. You were pleasantly surprised by Dean Ambrose backstage this week. You enjoyed
I
it.
was.
And I'm not going to argue. I got a chuckle out of the Gorilla Bobby line and stuff.
I like Mean Dean Ambrose. I like that. This is Mean Dean Ambrose signing off. But yeah, back to Bobby and Gorilla. It's classic stuff, and I think he has talent on the microphone. If he can be allowed to be more of himself and doesn't have to come off as such a crazy, fucking Brian Pillman wannabe,
If we
I think
got
he's much more entertaining. I liked him much better in the Shield. It felt more real and organic to me. This whole
they can keep the slick hair though.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
they did that to not make him look like he's got such a
They
receding
did
hairline.
that to make him look like a doll baby. There it is.
Oh.
5 fucking weeks.
Damn it!
Slipped it in.
Ew.
Hashtag doll baby, guys.
Oh, I'm
Start a
glad,
revolution
glad
with
you
me.
didn't say hashtag slipped it in.
Hey,
You want to start a revolution? No mercy. No mercy.
But yeah, like I agree with the Ambrose thing. If we got a chance to see more John Moxley when he was himself in like CZW and the Indies, that would be tremendous. But he could
Talking
never.
about Johnny Moxon from Varsity Blues?
Not John Moxon.
Oh.
I don't want your life.
Johnny
No,
Moxon.
he could never do that kind of stuff though on the main roster. That's the thing. So he, like we always say, he comes off kind of shackled.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't like the lunatic fringe gimmick. I think it's stupid.
Stupid name. It reminds me of like a carpet. Like you ever see the Big Lebowski where he carries the carpet around?
What color is that? That's lunatic fringe. Oh,
Pay to my lunatic friend. Austin Aries had a good match with TJP now, not Poikins.
TJP.
They threw it out. They threw it out.
Yeah.
Name change. What do you like the name change?
I don't care. To be honest with you, TJP, TJ Perkins. I'm glad that he's got a heel turn with him to make him a little more interesting. But still, when he speaks, it's the same TJ Perkins to me.
Still looks like Kermit the Frog.
Still unentertaining.
And I hate to say that.
It's just like he's. Did you see his little backstage segment with Neville?
I did.
Like Neville wasn't
trying to get intensity out of him or something. Oh, no, that was the week prior. This week's.
It was basically he was calling Neville out for his cheap victory at the pay-per-view, and Neville was like, I forget. Neville wasn't even excited about his answer, and TJP goes, "Whoa, calm down." And Neville wasn't even like excited about anything. I was like, okay, you could tell he's just reading from a script. I don't know. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have passion to me. I think this is a guy that's just cruising along, glad to get a paycheck. To be honest with you,
I think
he's a good worker. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Definitely, he's definitely a veteran. A lot of people don't realize how long he's actually wrestled. I think during the CWC tournament, he came off a lot more like he gave a shit. I think now and let's be honest, look how he's been booked. Do you blame him for just kind of collecting a paycheck if he is?
Well, I mean, even before then, when he was the champ and they gave him a microphone, it just seemed like he didn't put any of himself into those promos. They said, I know they're scripted, but you're still allowed to improv a little bit with those promos. You know what I mean? You're allowed to edit and replace some stuff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. You can tell he's just word for word. I'm going to read what they give me, so I keep getting paid.
And they give him garbage.
Yeah.
Well, here's a guy they don't give. Well, they didn't give these guys garbage. I should say this week. They got a chance to be themselves more. It seemed like. And Sheamus, in my opinion, is always such a much better heel because he's so much more unlikable.
Sheamus Olshansky?
Shimaro, or whatever we want to call him, Sazamus. They got a chance to cut their first heel promo this week. Michael went in the ring. Then you had the Hardys come out, which we'll get to the Hardys here in a second because there's a lot of news with that going on behind the scenes.
Toothless.
What did you? Well, not just toothless aggression, but what did you think of their first showcase as a heel team together?
I like it. I mean, obviously, it's a much better fit for Sheamus. I think I said this before. I don't know how great of a fit it's going to be for Cesaro.
Yeah,
Sheamus
didn't do bad though.
Sheamus is going to have to carry this a lot more as far as the heels go. Cesaro is just too good in the ring to hate. That's the thing that I never. I know they try to do different things with Cesaro to get him over, but I think he's over with in-ring ability. I don't think he can ever really be a hated chicken shit heel or anything. You
said that on the post show last week. Yeah, he's too good in the ring, and I agree.
He does too many things that make you want to like him, especially in the ring. Like he's a badass worker. His moves look great, and his talent just shines through. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but I hope this works out. I like them much more as a heel team than a babyface team. I think it rounds out
the tag divisional role a lot better now.
Yeah, they need another heel team.
Besides the Colognes.
And Sheamus has always been a much more believable heel. I don't like Sheamus' babyface. It's never worked great for him.
Nobody's really given a shit about Sheamus, like myself, since like late 2009, 2010.
I mean, this is the best work he's done in quite some time.
I think he's always been a good worker. His character finally seems a little bit refreshed again, maybe. The Mohawk didn't do him any favors at first, but now it's kind of hard to. We got used to it. It's hard to picture. Braids? He got rid of those.
Yeah, because they just look terrible.
They look like they hurt. Like I've watched them, like God, that's kind of fucking, especially to wrestle with that on. Fuck, man.
Yeah, all you have to do to finish him is just pull on them fucking things.
Like I have chest hair, so sometimes I get my chest hair caught. That shit fucking hurts.
Imagine he got it caught on something. God. That's probably why he got rid of him.
Michael, I know this
looked like Serena Williams, except on his beard. He had the beads on there and shit.
But the Hardys did come out. Speaking of the Hardys, they are all apparently word on the street and the dirt sheets. Tuna Meltzer, they're almost broken. They've almost bought the name from Anthem. It's not going to be hard for them to swoop that up if they really want it. Anthem's not going to turn. And I think WWE sees the dollar signs. The only thing, did you notice this week when they looked for the crowd and they did that delete? Not a big reaction.
No.
Does that speak to where they were at? Maybe it was kind of like a B-level 10 because I don't remember where they're at.
I don't know. I feel like they're kind of scaling up a little bit.
Is it the nostalgia thing?
Yeah, I think the nostalgia thing, it plays a big part in it. I think people are kind of like, we were expecting much more from the Hardys than just the old Hardys. You know what I mean? Which is what they've been since they've been back, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nothing new. It's just like, these guys were away for a while. Now they're back and they're the champs. And they're not real interesting to me.
We got anybody in the chat, Michael?
Nope.
Oh.
Nobody.
Thought I saw something pop in there.
Nope. Nobody in here. Thanks, guys.
That's all right. Hey, we're still in our infancy with this.
But
we are streaming late. We did not promote this.
We didn't promote it.
We'll do better. We'll be better boys next week. We'll be better doll babies.
There's
two on the show. There's
quit
two for
disgusting.
Back to where were we? The Hardys.
The Hardys, and they haven't done anything different from what they did years ago in WWE. I think that's what's really hurting them.
Yeah.
Once they can really be themselves in that broken gimmick, I feel like it'll get over. But right now, I think the fans are kind of souring on them a little bit, just because this is now the first real feud we're seeing with them, with Sheamus and Cesaro. I think that plays another part into it. There's not a whole lot to be, before this Sheamus and Cesaro official rivalry, it was just them wrestling, every week in a match that meant nothing.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get behind somebody who's wrestling every week for no purpose.
I think right now we're at the Hardys, and it's starting to get a little irritating. I catch myself doing some this is giving every smart mark wrestling nerd a chance to he did like a delete mannerism. Yeah. Like Corey Graves snuck something in on commentary about he's swinging him into a new universe. Like, calm down, guys. Calm down. People are losing their shit. You know why I'm not getting hyped? Because I know they're gonna fuck it up. I know WWE is gonna fuck up the broken gimmick. I'm going on record. I'm calling it now. We'll see where we're at a couple months from now if I was right. Michael, do you think they're gonna? What the fuck do you think they're gonna do with this? I'm
all right?
Stumbling, man.
Tip of the tongue twister.
I'm drinking a lot of coffee. I should probably.
What are they gonna do with this? I really don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about the broken gimmick to begin with.
I don't want them to just throw him in there with fucking Bray Wyatt to do it. If they're gonna do that, build that fucking feud up.
Yeah.
Treat that shit with fucking class like it should be built.
Well, right now Bray Wyatt's working with Finn Balor. That's
which does nothing for me, by the way. Can I admit?
Well, I think it's just an excuse to get him to paint his face.
Those guys were involved.
At the next pay-per-view, it'll just be him painting his face.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt's gonna bring the demon king
out. And I bet
out.
Bray Wyatt does spooky shocked face like.
Yeah.
Like you didn't expect him to come out. We'll get to the two best parts of Raw here in a bit, the Bray Wyatt, Kurt Angle stuff. But real quick to wrap up the Hardy stuff. Yeah, guys, just be patient. But I think they're gonna fuck it up. Like you said, I just don't want to be like, all right, he's in a feud with Bray Wyatt. Like his first broken fucking promo ever. I see them, the lights going out. There's Bray Wyatt for no reason.
Well, I mean, what do they do if they're still a tag team and they do this broken gimmick?
I don't want them to feud him with Jeff, and I don't think they're going to turn Jeff broken. A lot of reports are saying they're going to keep him Jeff Hardy, and there's money signs in that. I get that. He can just be
Jeff Hardy was never really entertaining.
And I'm fine with just Jeff Hardy.
Outside of the ring, Jeff Hardy never really did a lot.
Brother Nero was okay, but he didn't do a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was more Matt.
He just kind of stood there and made faces while Matt did the talking.
Yeah.
So.
Brain fart. Give me 2 seconds. Hardys, fucking.
Do you need me to bring it up?
No. Yeah, let's just wait, guys. Let's see where they go with it. I think how that'll play out is them getting heel turned on by Sheamus and Cesaro. This is going to lead to Matt's breaking point, like a lot of people are speculating.
You had a who gives a shit match between Luke Gallows and Enzo Amore.
Yeah, pretty much.
A filler match.
Luke Gallows getting the win with interference by Carl Anderson.
Yes.
Enzo laid there like he was dead. He really sold that finisher.
Enzo is a great seller.
He is.
He's one of the best sellers.
For someone that hasn't been trained that long.
Yeah, but I think his stature, he should be. He needs to be a good seller. He's one of the smallest guys, if not the smallest guy on the roster, as far as main roster.
Yeah.
But not 205 Live. You know what I mean? He has to be able to sell well if he's going to get over it all. And I think that's another thing that makes him entertaining. Is he's that shit talker that gets his ass kicked, but he keeps coming. You know what I mean? He keeps talking. It doesn't faze him, and it makes it. He's one of the best talkers on the microphone in WWE. So who knows what they do with him in the future, or what they do with this team? But I like seeing Enzo Amore out there on the microphone, and I don't think his in-ring work is that terrible to where you can't have him out there.
Have they grown thin on you yet, Enzo and Kaz?
No, No,
Just
I
they're
still
not
like them.
booked into obscurity.
Yeah, they're not being booked real well right now, but I think they're kind of saving it. I think they have to get the belts off the Hardys before they can make them relevant.
Obviously.
You have another face team, another likable face team. You can't have them with that face team right now in a time period of the year where there's no big pay-per-views coming up. So
let's get to the two best parts of Raw real quick. I actually really like this a lot more than I thought it would because it was interesting because I didn't expect these two in the ring together. Again, like this, though. Kurt Angle gets interrupted by Bray Wyatt, and he introduces himself to Kurt Angle. Cut a great promo, sort of.
You can tell Kurt Angle's just standing there like, what the fuck's this guy's talking about?
Kurt Angle is Christ. I got to admit, this is the oldest I've ever seen Kurt Angle look. Maybe it was the lighting, the lowered lighting, but he looked like a fucking women's basketball coach or something in this. He really did. Like the Scream Blue Chips or something to me. Just with women. Typical Bray Wyatt promo. It was good. Pretty much said he's threatening the entire roster. Basically, it was talking in riddles.
This may be your show, but this is my world.
Yeah.
Sorry,
when they cut it out.
It's a terrible Bray Wyatt, but I'm working.
Is that a good impression?
I'm working on it.
I didn't know I had that in me. Like every time they cut to the end of a
Yep, it's just him saying a word that they quipped. Yeah.
Michael, you had a promo with Seth Rollins coming out saying he wants the Beast. This was the best part of Raw leading to the main event, which is a solid match. He wants the Beast, interrupted by Finn Balor. These two going back and forth saying who deserves what, how he never lost his belt. A little jab at Rollins for injuring him in SummerSlam. They're really good friends in real life. It is what it is. Interrupted by
Mean Dean Ambrose.
Yes.
Yes, he came out next. He came out to basically, he kind of trashed Brock a little bit.
He did. Threw in a hell of a jab.
Yeah, talking about he's the only champion that's there to fight all the time.
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar just fights when he wants to.
I don't think those two legitimately don't like each other. Ambrose is not happy with their match at Mania a year or so back.
What was there to gain for him in that match afterwards?
It sucked. It was so disappointing. But and then interrupted by your favorite guy on the main roster, I'm pretty sure. The Miz. This promo, this whole thing was used to elevate the IC title.
They have to right now.
I think this is off to a good start. Mm-hmm. I'm weary because it's WWE.
I'm glad that the Miz won this #1 contenders match. I'm glad because if either one of the other guys would have won it, I'd have been like, Jesus Christ, SmackDown and Raw are doing the same fucking thing. They're taking main event talent and putting them in mid-card title feuds.
Yeah.
So I'm glad the Miz won this match. It made the most sense because Finn Balor and Seth Rollins are kind of viewed as higher talents right now. Not to discredit the Miz, but he has not been given that main event push yet to where he needs to be seen as more relevant than he is.
He's definitely earning his keep, though.
And they're trying to give Dean Ambrose something to do, and they have to make this title look more prestigious right now because, quite frankly, it's the only one getting defended.
I'm not going to lie to you guys and to you, Michael, when Ambrose was cutting that promo and talking about the only title that matters on Raw is the IC title, I had a good chuckle. Because,
well, yeah.
I don't know.
But he explained why.
But I hope they do what they've tried to do with the U.S. title. It seems like, for all the ups and downs U.S. titles had since the John Cena Open Challenge, it still feels a little more important than it used to before that Open Challenge.
Still feels more important than the Intercontinental title.
Very true. But this did lead, like you said, the triple threat match for the #1 contendership to main event Raw. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and The Miz. Great fucking match.
Yes.
Dude, I love that spot where he got kicked him into a DDT. That was tremendous.
Yeah, really there was a lot of really good spots in this match.
But it looked like Finn was going to get the win going up for the...
How much longer is Seth Rollins going to sell the knee, though, to be honest with you?
I don't have a problem with that. That makes sense.
It's just...
Do you just want it to go away after wrestling?
Well, every match he's selling the knee. Every match. Like, how long is this knee injury going to last? It's going to last... Is it going to be like Bob Orton? Is he going to wear a cast for the rest of his life? But, when is it going to be to where he's... I mean, you're calling out the Beast, and you still can't wrestle a match without grabbing your knee. So, I mean...
Let's try to make him look like the valiant babyface, though. That's exactly why they did that. And it works.
It's getting old with me, I guess.
He may be the most over babyface on Raw right now, you could say.
Can we get past the knee a little bit? That's the one thing I don't like.
But Michael looked like Finn was going for the win, no pun intended, and out comes Bray Wyatt, like you said earlier, to
after Samoa Joe had already beaten up Seth Rollins.
With a hell of a Sambo suplex on the outside. Where the fuck that
Hopefully
was.
Seth's okay.
But yeah,
hopefully Finn's okay.
And then and by the way, the Sister Abigail to Finn looked nasty. That may be one of the best I've ever seen him.
Looked like he went right on his face.
Do you ever catch on the YouTube channel the slow motion highlights of the matches? That looked really
Well,
good.
Finn took it like he was gonna just take it.
Finn, for me, I don't know about you. When I watch him work, he's like Sami Zayn. He worries me when he wrestles because he sells so good, and he's so much tinier than a lot of guys.
He has my favorite finisher in WWE. I love the coup de grace.
I gotta
love
go with
it.
Corbin's probably still. I'm on the fence about the coup de grace because it doesn't weigh that much. So
You're still jumping off a top rope onto somebody's stomach.
okay, but if he would do that to like a Braun Strowman, you would say, and get the win, does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, especially if you want him to sell it, fucking do it for real on him and see if he sells it, because he will. Trust me, I don't care. I don't care if you're 160 pounds, 200 pounds.
That's your stomach.
You jump off the top rope and just stomp somebody's fucking stomach, it's gonna hurt.
Your stomach, your eyes, your balls,
Yeah.
and there's somewhere else on the anatomy that's always. It doesn't matter how big you are. Michael, that was Raw this week. Overall, you had other things that aren't worth mentioning, obviously, like Kurt Hawkins. What do you grade this week's Raw?
C. Maybe C minus. Like I would give it a C. I'll give it a C. It was okay.
Fair enough. I'm right there with you.
I mean, a couple good things, but also some other things that suck.
I shudder to think what this show would have been like without that Miz segment and the Bray Wyatt segment. Take those two out, and then you got a solid D level show.
I mean, still you had Alexa Bliss there to start the show, which I thought was good.
I will say before we review the show this week, SmackDown wins again, in my opinion. The better show this week, my opinion. You might differentiate. We'll get right to that in a second.
There was more at stake at SmackDown. So
let's find out. What did you think of SmackDown, Michael?
Hey, we left out some cruiserweight matches, but
we left out an 8-man tag.
That's what we do.
Jack Gallagher got the win with this.
There was 2 cruiserweight matches.
And we talked about TJP and Aries. We got them out of the way.
Yeah, you're right.
You want to go into SmackDown?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, if Michael's done cutting me off, it's time for this week's SmackDown review. Live. SmackDown this week, Michael. Like I said, it was the better show. Kicked off with your new United States champion, newest addition to SmackDown. Seemingly, we'll talk about that at the end of the show and where that's going. Chris Jericho comes out with Shane McMahon. I don't think these two have been in the ring together on WWE television in quite some time, like on camera.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, a solid Jericho promo is usually playing the crowd, blah, blah, blah. Interrupted by AJ Styles, Michael.
AJ Styles. You gotta say his name slow. It's the way they do it on SmackDown. You can't just say AJ Styles anymore.
Not to be outdone, of course, by the new face of America, Kevin Owens. What did you think about this segment to kick off SmackDown?
It was good. I mean, I think you had great elements into this, but I feel like it's kind of spoiled the finish for what was going to happen later. That was the only problem I had with this. You kind of were on the fence on whether or not. I mean, we already predicted on the post show that Kevin Owens would win it back on SmackDown.
Yeah,
but
we predicted exactly what happened. That he would make an injury angle for Jericho to go away.
Yeah, we were still on the fence though. You know, there was still a chance that maybe Jericho retained, and they waited till the pay-per-view.
I didn't think that.
They waited till Backlash for him to, you know.
Because I think I read that Jericho's last date was either Monday or Payback, so he didn't technically have to make the shot, but he did. So that's good on him. Sure, he got a nice little extra payday.
Oh, they didn't screw him, huh?
But it makes a lot more sense, especially like we said on the post show for Payback 2. It doesn't make sense for just them to give Kevin Owens this new gimmick, new Titantron, and for him to just lose it already. So, of course, you kind of knew he would win it back.
And you knew he was going to... It wouldn't have made any sense for Jericho and Styles to feud. They're both baby faces right now. And then you would have basically just left Owens out there in the cold with nothing to do.
You know what I loved about this whole segment? One of the best things I've ever seen in one of these. I'm on the ramp and you're in the ring, so I'm going to talk shit. Styles didn't say a word. He just ran up the ramp and started beating the shit. And you never see that. And it makes so much more sense if this is real life that would just happen.
We told him to get out of his ring, so he did. Got out of the ring and came up and beat his ass.
So we can, even though he still kind of acts like a cocky prick, Brad Maddox's favorite term, AJ Styles is definitely a babyface now, you would say. It hasn't changed the thing, didn't need to.
No.
And I like they're doing it this way. He's a cool tweener. He's not like a Roman Reigns. He's not booked like a generic lame tweener. But yeah, this segment was great. Michael, a couple things that weren't so great on this show. One thing was surprising.
Jinder Mahal!
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
Sorry, couldn't hold it in.
His first real one-on-one chance to shine was someone who can definitely deliver in the ring. Sami Zayn had their one-on-one match. Not very fucking good, Gender.
No.
I don't know if you caught a lot of the match, Michael. The specific spot sticks out to me was the shitty tornado DDT. It was totally Gender's fucking fault.
Yes.
You could even see it on Zayn's face.
How do you not know how to take that?
I could take that at like 14 on a trampoline.
You do a 180 and you flip, basically.
Yeah.
So it's
especially with you're roided out. You got gyno coming out of your veins.
Jesus.
You can't lift up Sami Zayn and pull that spot off there, Gender. We're gonna hinder him this week. I haven't given up hope yet.
And they gave him some nickname that I can't pronounce.
The Maharaji.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
The fuck does that mean?
I will say I haven't given up hope yet because at least it's something new, and I like it a lot more because it's a stable.
Yeah, the Bollywood boys out there.
Singh brothers. I don't even know if they call them the Bollywood boys anymore, do they?
No, they let it slip every once in a while. But my problem with this is also what makes it make sense for me a little bit. I know that this isn't going to make sense, but my problem is how many times are you going to put Jinder Mahal out there as a main event advertised talent, and he can't win anything without having the help of those two little runts? You know what I mean? I know it makes sense in wrestling terms because he's a heel. He's supposed to cheat to win. But every match, I mean, it's not like Sami Zayn's on fire. You know what I mean? You can't just beat Sami Zayn like everybody else does. So, I'm not going to snap.
I thought it was time to get fired up.
No, I'm not getting fired up yet, but it just doesn't make any sense for me. But if I really wanted to get fired up, I could just go on a rant about Jinder Mahal's terrible work, which I'm not going to.
Well, he doesn't do great in the promo department either. Here's something we've never.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because there's somebody that disagrees with you.
You want to go there?
Gary Vagina or whatever his name is.
Hey, we're all about feedback, and that is the most fired up I've seen you have to get in quite some time since the OG Hoppin' Bruce Biggs day.
Well, I don't like being called out and being called something with people that don't even fucking know me. So that's what really.
Well, welcome to YouTube, Mike. It's not that. I think you were offended that
he basically called me a racist.
Yeah.
He said I didn't like Jinder Mahal because of his skin color, basically, because he looked different.
Which, in no way did you come across like that.
No, it had nothing to do with what he looks like. And I think I made that point very clear to the guy. I said, if anything, he looks like a prototypical 80s wrestler.
Yeah.
All roided up, fucking veiny. You know what I mean? If anything, he doesn't look different to me. He just is out of his element.
I think, guys, you got to understand, Michael's biggest problem, he could care less about the race card. WWE already played the fucking race. They waited the whole week, and then they played the race card. It was the fact that, who the fuck has he ever beaten? It doesn't make sense. This is
I want my wrestling to make sense.
And basically, so many guys, it's not just us. And it's like people like Solomonster have come out and said it. Don Tony, all the bigger podcasters and stuff. This doesn't make fucking sense.
Well, they're trying.
But I'm at the same time, JBL, when he became like overnight, literally from an APA jobber, at that point he was a jobber, to a legitimate main event guy. You might have loved or hated the run, but he made his name. This could be the same thing. That's why I'm not giving up hope or totally shitting on it. But I agree with what you always say, how overnight he was from jobber to this huge push. But that's kind of like the ringmaster with Steve Austin.
What they're trying to do, they're doing it backwards, basically, as far as I'm concerned. They had him win a big match, and now they're trying to make him relevant. You know what I mean? Instead of making him relevant and then winning a big match, they had him go ahead and win the big match.
Yeah.
Now they're going to spend week after week and give him wins and have him in the, like Austin Orton shit. You know, they're trying to make him relevant after the fact that he's already won this match. Well, my problem is that's backwards for me. You need to make him relevant before you have him win a big match. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just... It is what it is. We're gonna have to accept that's the match at Backlash.
Do you think they might have seen it that way too? They were like, "Oh shit, we got to kind of make this guy look good."
Most definitely,
because nobody's buying this shit.
Something on this show that surprised the shit out of me: Sin Cara versus Dolph Ziggler. Sin Cara,
a hell of a match.
Yes, it was, and give credit to Sin Cara.
I liked his new outfit too.
I did too. I was gonna say that the crazy blue outfit.
Yeah,
yeah,
I like that. It was alright for me. That's the most I'm ever gonna talk about Sin Cara on this show.
You don't want to beat you up backstage.
Yeah, I don't want to get my ass kicked.
Yeah, that was a great match. Obviously, they had to pick someone for Dolph's got to beat somebody on top.
But I feel like that
before he gets fed.
I don't feel like that match helped Dolph any.
I mean,
if he's going to be the guy working with Shinsuke, he needs to be built up a little better than that.
Dolph should have.
He shouldn't have to struggle so much with Sin Cara. You know what I mean?
I hate to say this, I hate to say this. They could have taken this week and not put Styles in the U.S. picture, and maybe Ziggler get kind of a cheap win over Styles with maybe Owens costing, and that way he gets a little because a win over Styles would seem more credible than fucking Sin Cara.
Well, especially if you're going to put him with Sin Cara, you can't have him struggle so much.
And especially if Ziggler's match is against, besides Styles, the biggest babyface on SmackDown.
Do you think a lot of that was Ziggler's fault though, because he's all about stealing the show when he gets in the ring? He made that match. He made that match to his discredit. He's going to be working a guy like Shinsuke, and you're struggling with Sin Cara just to put on a good. You put on a good match, but it made you look like you were struggling to beat this guy, who hasn't won a match on television. And
I don't think he's ever the guy that. I don't know.
His stature doesn't help him any.
This might be more the.
But you're working Sin Cara. You can't just squash the guy. You know what I mean?
Unless there's some big push for fucking Sin Cara. Who knows at this point who's getting pushed next on SmackDown? Of course, we get another vignette. The New Day are coming again. Like, okay. I mean, it's not like they've never fucking been on television. It's just bring them out.
Can we talk about my favorite part of SmackDown?
The new 4 Horsewomen?
No.
With James Ellsworth, Carmella?
No.
Oh, God.
No. What was it? The Fashion Files.
The Fashion Files.
I believe that's what it was called.
I saw
I love this shit.
Clip, but I did not actually see this. So this is.
Oh my god, it was fucking hilarious. It's like Law and Order, basically mixed with like the X Files. Basically, they had all these little quips and shit to say, and their next case was on the Uggos. You know what I mean? Who they're making fun of the Usos. They call them the Uggos.
Yeah.
But these guys, I think, are coming in. I think these guys. Now, a lot could be said in the same sense of, well, how the hell are they getting a title shot? They never win a match.
Easy. You can't play.
But they have won a couple matches in the last year, if you remember. So
I can't remember the last time the Fashion Police ever actually won a match, or Tyler Breeze. I think that beat the
when they first got together, they won some matches.
Yeah, but haven't they been together for like ever?
No, they've been together. It hasn't even been a year, I don't think.
I don't know.
So, but anyway, they win the Beat the Clock challenge against the Ascension, who I thought was maybe going to get a push a couple months ago.
So did I.
And evidently
especially
that's
with their new badass face paint, which I like.
And evidently that's gone now. But I love the fact that they're giving these guys some time on the microphone because these guys are both entertaining as far as talkers go. I've always liked, it's going to sound weird, I've always liked Fandango on the microphone. I thought, I mean, to have that whole fucking, what was it, that whole movement of people just doing his little theme music dance when he wasn't
lasted for a month.
Yeah, but it was still,
let's come right out and say it because Rusev also popped up on the show too, demanding a match for the title of Money in the Bank.
He's not coming back till he gets a title match.
All these guys from Southpaw Regional Wrestling skits are getting a push, if you notice. Yeah. I mean, that's not a coincidence. Especially for guys like the Fashion Police who were stars on Southpaw. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you call it all Southpaw.
Yeah, I think they kind of found some hidden gems there with those segments. They found out, wow, these guys are pretty entertaining. We should give them a chance.
Yeah, but
was Jinder Mahal on Southpaw?
He was not.
Okay, why the fuck's he getting a push?
Because he looks God. Look at that guy.
Okay, makes sense.
The women of SmackDown, Michael, had a tag match. Like I said, the new 4 Horsewomen, James Ellsworth, Tamina, Natalya, and Carmella, taking on the new babyface, apparently, Charlotte. Like, you talk about someone that shouldn't be a babyface.
I hated it.
Go ahead, ran on. Because I skipped out.
I hate the way this is being booked. You cannot have Charlotte as a babyface. She is the most over heel in WWE.
Alexa.
I still think she's more over than Alexa as a heel.
I don't think anymore. I think this move to SmackDown is going to stagnate
what they're doing with her now, yeah, maybe not. But before that, I mean, nobody is so easy to hate more than Charlotte. I mean, it's... And the fact that they're making her... They're teaming her up with fucking the champ, who she's supposed to be beating. And I'm hoping that this leads to basically...
You smell a swerve?
Yes, I think a swerve's coming.
You like Charlotte's leading these women?
Yes,
secretly?
I think so. I think that could be down the road. That would make sense to me. Charlotte just cannot be a babyface. I can't take it. I'm sorry.
It would make sense for the daughter of Ric Flair to be the head of a 4 Horsewomen type stable too, totally.
Yes.
I don't know if these are the women I'd select, possibly.
I'd let Natty in there for sure.
Should you let Tamina?
No.
Was she
definitely wouldn't let Carmella in there.
Is Tamina your Lex Luger of the Horsemen?
I thought maybe she was the Arn Anderson.
Maybe the enforcer. Michael, and of course the main event, the best part of SmackDown. We did have Dillinger into English again in squash match.
I love Aiden
I do
English, by the
love
way.
it. I'm best thing ever happened
love
to
the
this
fact
guy
that he
was
cried.
Simon Gotch getting released.
I love the fact that he cried after
He pulled a
lost.
tantrum out of the books.
Yes.
Christian from like 02.
I loved
He was
it.
European Christian.
And fucking Jericho, they had a little segment backstage, which I thought was good too, where he made fun of him for crying. You know what happens when you cry after you lose?
Where do you go, Michael?
You just made the list!
There it is.
How'd that go?
Main event, speaking of Jericho, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, United States title match. We all know how this played out. Great fucking match and a great send-off beatdown for Kevin Owens to look strong and use the shit on his neck, which was awesome. That reminds me of the Brian Pillman days, just on the ankle. I like it's good stuff. They're booking Owens really good right now, I think.
Good send-off for Jericho for when he decides to come back.
Second show this week, back-to-back nights, main roster that were main event were mid-card title guys.
Yep. Orton did not make an appearance on the show at all.
Which is weird because
the show started with Shane McMahon taking the title from Jinder.
Yeah.
And you didn't see Orton at all. I figured you might see Orton during
Angle because he just had the House of Horrible match.
I guess, but I thought I would have seen him in Jinder during Jinder's match at least at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe after the match or something, but it never happened. So I guess it was just his turn to have a week off.
Who knows? Michael, that was
champ. So both champs not on the show this week.
Well, look who your champs are also. I mean, let's be real.
Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar.
Michael, that was SmackDown this week. No Shinsuke either. A lot of disappointed Shinsuke fans I saw in the crowd with the shirts on. Mm-hmm. That's gotta suck.
Yeah.
Like
it's only 2 hours. So what do you do?
No word on if Shinsuke was in the dark match. I'm not sure. He might have been.
Probably.
But I send fans home happy after the camera stopped going. Michael, what do you grade SmackDown this week?
B-.
Not much better than Raw, but
slightly better than Raw. Mostly because of the Jericho and Owens and Fashion Files.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
That's my take on that.
I'll give it a B.
It wasn't much better for me. It was pretty much a toss-up this week. The only reason it beat Raw was because of the Jericho and Owens match. Fashion Files was a nice little tidbit.
Well, there you have it, Michael. That is Raw and SmackDown this week. Hopefully this next week be a lot better in what we get. Now, like we said, we're going to keep our top threes in Post-Edit City. So it's been tremendous to go live once again. Look for top 3 feuds this week, Michael. Slam Pig is extra.
It's coming.
Since we're not capping this off with the top 3, let's talk memories. Talk a little music. One of my all-time favorite things ever done musically in WWE, Michael. Let's take a listen.
My Baby Tonight. How I know it's coming.
I think you have me. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheBigTMD. Check out Michael at Mike the Slam Pig. Michael, episode 55 is in the books. We went live, baby, live again. I like this. Not having to worry about editing.
Yeah,
so
I like it, especially when you got Jeff Garrett.
Jeff Garrett. Jeff Garrett Bischoff.
Jeff Jarrett fucking lip syncing.
Yeah. Let's turn the lights off. Let's close the doors. Thank you guys for stopping by. Slam Pigs, episode 55.
Hey, we're going to leave all our worries in the world behind.
Until next time, we'll see you guys right here, Slam Pigs Podcast. Have a great week.
Bye.
You know we're still live.
Yep. Don't give a shit.
Big Al on the guitar! We be rocking! Drummer.
Hey, this is pretty good stuff. Yeah.
Behind. Never let